Well, welcome to another Communication Today speaking tip. It's Friday, and I'm going to have 5-minute Fridays from here on in. Storytelling is the key to any presentation. If you want to master your presentation skills, whether that be on stage or whether it's just one-on-one, if you want to clarify your message, you must master the presentation of storytelling. The best way to make a point, the best way to get that point really driven home to the person that you're presenting to or the group that you're presenting to is to tell a compelling story. Master storytelling and you'll have them wanting to know more. So what is the best way to tell a story? There are 5 key factors when it comes to storytelling, and they are the characters. You must describe the characters, not in absolute detail, but just a brief description. As an example, have you ever watched a movie, have you ever read a book and then gone to see the movie, and that character is totally different to who you thought or how you thought they would look? That's the art of describing a character, so people can envisage it in their own mind. But there's no story at all unless there is a conflict. So the idea is to have that conflict, which is the pain point of your audience. So with your research, with the questions that you've asked, you've understood what the pain points are and what are you offering to them to cure those pain points. It is the absolute ultimate storyteller who can raise the conflict 3 times. So not just once, don't just mention a conflict that it happened once or that it only impacted on them once. If you can impact on them 1, 2, or 3 times with that conflict and really cut deep and they're really almost hurting when you tell them, that's when you've got a really solid story and you know you're hitting their pain points. But now you must have a cure. So what's the cure? What is it that you're introducing that's going to cure their pain points, that's going to cure their problems, and that's going to be the revolution that solves what it is that they need to overcome? That should be obviously your product or service. So we've got the characters, we've got the conflict, we've got the cure, but once they've implemented the cure, there needs to be some sort of change. And it needs to be a dramatic change. So they utilised your service or they utilised your product, and then the change happened. And it's an aha moment. This is when it really strikes a chord and people say, yes, I want that same outcome. I want that resolution. I want that product or service because I'm suffering that conflict or that pain as well. Please resolve it for me. I need your service. So then we've got the change. But here is the key to the classic story. There must be a carry out message. So what's your underlying message that you're going to leave your audience with or your client if it's a one-on-one scenario? What's that clear message that has just been driven home by that story that you've told? The carry out message should be no greater than 10 words. And most stories that you're going to come up with should start with that carry out message in mind. So you need to come up with that short 10 words or less carry out message that will just resonate. And here is the magic. This is where the magic happens when you master storytelling and the client who you're telling the story about delivers the carry out message, not you. So when we're talking in dialogue and telling a great story, that carry out message must be stated at the very end of the story by your client. They are the hero of the story, you're just the guide. So the 5 C's to storytelling, and you put this structure in place before you present, before you have a one-on-one discussion with anyone. The 5 C's, you must describe the characters so they can relate to them, so they understand who the characters are. And ideally, they're just like them. And then you have the conflict. They must have conflict. Can you imagine the Titanic movie if it didn't hit the iceberg? Pretty boring movie. So there must be conflict, and ideally raise it 3 times. Then you must introduce the cure. You're the guide. You've decided to give them a plan, a bit of a cure of which they can follow. Then the change that happened. What's that change? What was that? Wow, what an amazing difference your product or service has made. And then lastly, that carry out message, ideally told by the client in dialogue at the end of your story. So master your storytelling and you watch the difference it makes to your presentations. You watch the difference that it makes, whether it's one-on-one or a major keynote in front of a huge audience. You'll have them wanting to know more and wanting to lean into the conversation and saying, This presenter really knows their stuff because stories, we're hardwired for it. You can't help it, it's in our DNA. That's why we love movies so much. So thanks for watching. Again, you may need to watch this 1 or 2 times or 3 times just to get this message, but make sure you watch it and master storytelling. It will change your outcomes. So again, thanks for watching, and remember, communication really can change your destination.